For example, new calls for the Hate Crime and Public Order Bill in Scotland to now prosecute dinner table conversations that incite hatred. I cannot believe this. Justice Secretary Humza Yousaf has also called for journalists and theatre directors to face court if their work is deemed to deliberately stoke up prejudice. Brendan, you're a great friend of Australia's. You'll remember we had our own Gillian Triggs, the woman who persecuted your mate, Bill Leake, who once bemoaned the fact that people are still free to say what they like around the kitchen table, but not in Scotland, apparently.
No, so there's this hate speech bill going through in Scotland being pushed by the Scottish National Party, and it is terrifying. It would potentially clamp down on playwrights, journalists, anyone who was judged to be stirring up hatred, whatever that means. And now the Justice Secretary, Humza Yousaf, is saying that it should also apply to private dwellings. So the things you say at home, in the living room, around the dining table, could potentially become criminal matters. This is tyranny. When the government says that it wants to police speech in people's private homes, that is East Germany levels of authoritarianism. And I really think there has to be a big pushback against this. Under the SNP, the Scottish National Party, Scotland has become this weird laboratory for all these kinds of authoritarian experiments. It's become this tin pot tyranny on the edge of Europe. And a lot of Scottish people are getting really sick and tired of it. And I hope they push back against this extreme, illiberal, censorious law.
Sounds a bit like Victoria, Brendan. Well, as Europe, meanwhile, grapples with a second wave of COVID-19, many nations are now rushing around imposing drastic new coronavirus restrictions amid these increases and outbreaks. The restrictions are set to begin on Monday and last until the end of November. France, we mentioned earlier, well, France is set to impose a nationwide lockdown, and Germany will close down its hospitality sector, impose other restrictions for a month in a last-ditch effort to protect hospitals from becoming inundated. So this is lockdown lunacy back on again. The UK will also limit the number of people gathering to a maximum of 10 individuals from 2 households. And we're learning of people, Brendan, who are rebelling against it this time around. People are ignoring the directives in places like Italy. So what's going on? What's the public mood there to the second new lockdown?
The public mood is not good. There is not as much support for the idea of a lockdown as there was back in March and April, and people are getting really tired of this. In the UK this week, a police representative actually said that the police might break up Christmas parties in Britain if they think people are having Christmas parties with too many people. This is the level of lockdown lunacy we have reached, with the police threatening to go into people's homes on Christmas Day and break up their Christmas dinners. This is getting really psychotic. And the problem is, lockdowns don't work. They are short-term solutions, because if you lock everyone away, of course, fewer people will get ill. But when you open up again, there will be more cases, but thankfully, fewer hospitalizations and fewer deaths in the second wave than the first wave. We have to have a longer-term solution, which involves learning to live with the virus, opening the economy, not destroying our societies, and getting back to something resembling normality.